Zulu Nation, Chapter 91 presents Strictly Business. Everybody, please give a round of applause to Entrepreneur of the Year, CEO, founder of Karmaloo Clothing, the clothing line that started off in his parents' basement and ended up becoming worth $500 million, all the way from Boston. Give it up for Greg Selkoe.
So I appreciate you guys having me here tonight. Thank you, Zulu Nation, for having me. Thank you for squashing the beef between Q-Tip and Rex in Effect. And it means a lot to me when I get to actually interact with people who really are part of the culture and wear the clothing and are creative. That was why I started Karmaloo, was to be able to have a voice. I think it's great when you get to speak with a group of creative people. So basically, I'll tell you kind of how it started. I grew up in Boston in a neighborhood called Jamaica Plain, which is in the city of Boston. So I didn't really have a lot of business background at all. So the genesis of kind of where Karmaloo came from was I was right after college. I was working for the city of Boston. I was working as an urban planner. I was helping my friend Al with this magazine called Decontrol.net, which was like just a little zine. And so basically, we needed to sell advertising, right? One of the things I noticed is that there were all these cool up-and-coming streetwear brands, right? I don't even know if the term existed at that point. People like Common and Mos Def and other people were wearing 555 Soul. I called these brands up and I was like, yo, can you guys take advertising? This is the perfect place for you guys. And they're like, yeah, we agree, but we don't have any money. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any money? You guys are, all these people are wearing your stuff. And they said, look, all those people live in New York and LA, and we are only in a few boutiques there. Otherwise, you can't get this stuff. So we're going broke. So I was like, all right, I learned a couple things. One, it's fucking really hard to make money from a media site. And two, this is an opportunity. It was a classic case of supply and demand where I could get this clothing, put it online, and provide universal reach when people in Corpus Christi, Texas, or University of Ohio, they knew these brands, but they couldn't get them, right? So that's kind of how Karmaloo was born. So I started in my basement. I was working another job at the time. I used to come home and there'd be 2 orders, and I'd be like, fuck, how do these people find out about me? This is amazing. I have 2 orders. So what I did is I would call those people on the phone, and every single customer we had for the first 2 years, I called up and talked to them. And, I knew we were onto something big because people were just so excited because they were like, hey, I'm in Calgary. We don't have anything like this, and they wanted to help out and they wanted to participate. Basically, what we did was something that got termed Web 2.0, meaning we got our customers involved. And and early on, I was like, look, I never want to be like Delta Airlines or some site where, you call up and you can't get any help. We want to be accessible to our customers. So from the beginning, I put my personal cell phone number on the site, and it's still there. I get people call me up at 3 a.m, like, yo, this fucking shirt's dope, man. These girls are sweating me. And I'm like, dude, I got a 2-year-old baby. I got to go to... So I keep my phone off at night now. One of the things that is kind of upsetting about being big is that I really can't get back to everyone the way I want to. And I wish I could give everyone the time. But one of the things that's important as an entrepreneur is to be persistent. So send me 2 more emails and I'll start to notice. Without being persistent, you got nothing as an entrepreneur. In the very beginning, I didn't have any access to money, but I was fortunate enough to have, my dad was willing to invest some money, put $50,000 in. And I know everyone who's been successful as an entrepreneur has had help from somebody. Basically what happened is I went to my parents. I'm like, hey, can you invest in my company? And my mom's like, you're leaving your job. What are you doing? You're ruining your life. And so my dad's like, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. And then he grabbed me later. He's like, all right, I'll do it, but just don't tell your mom. So I had to meet him at his office and get a check under we just told her Christmas 2 years ago. And she was like, what? She was still mad, even though it's, we're doing $200 million in sales this year. What would happen is I'd go home from work. I'd pack up the orders. I'd take them on. My girlfriend is now my wife at the time, would help me. I have no idea why she married me when I was in the basement playing with clothes at all hours. From 2000 to 2006, we lost money, maxed out credit cards. I never had a positive balance on my bank card. I was always in the overdraft, right? And they were like, they must have been like, why did we give this guy overdraft protection? They give me $15,000. Like, this is amazing. I don't need money. I can just go off for that. I mean, believe me, every minute of it was fun. And after a certain point, I had gotten so deep into the hole. It was either I had to be successful or I had to move to the woods and hide. I mean, there was one point we were so broke where I couldn't make payroll that I was borrowing money from a hot dog vendor. He'd give me $10,000 in cash. He'd charge me $1,000 a week interest on it. It was like loan shark shit. So yeah, I paid it back as quick as I could. But look, I had to rally the troops all the time to get the employees together and be like, look, stick with me. A lot of these employees are still with the company. They got equity in the company and they've made a lot of money. Even though we've gotten really big and, in a lot of ways we dominate the streetwear market, there's all these smaller companies that exist within Karma, whether it's Brick Harbor, and that's my boy Chase. He started a skate site. He runs that on his own. My friend Leandrew, he's from the Bay. He basically, had a t-shirt line called Ragamuffin, went to Berkeley, had only done nonprofit work before that. I was like, look, I want to start this flash sale site. Gave it to him. He took it, ran with it, and he's taken it from $0 to $50 million in 3 years. So you guys can all tell Leandrew good work.